talking football, and they all wear a whistle. Yeah, it's stupid, but what did you expect? It's a podcast called 25 Whistles. 25 Whistles.
Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app, use the code BobbySports, and get in on the action. I lost so much money.
Oh, gosh, so did I.
Now,
Week 1 was not good to me.
to be fair, I did what I shouldn't do.
Well, what's that?
I doubled
Bet
up.
on week 1?
I doubled up to catch up last night, and I won.
Oh,
and I won.
gosh.
And I won.
Okay.
I won. Because I took Duke plus 12.5.
How did you think that was going to happen?
Because I didn't think it was going to happen.
Oh, so it's the opposite.
I can stand it. Yeah.
You reversed.
Man, I should start doing that.
No. I don't like that because I was totally on tilt and I was like, I don't know which way is up or down. So I just, a gymnast will flip around and they lose where they are. Like Gabby Douglas.
No. You're thinking Simone Biles?
Simone Biles. Yes. Gabby Barrett's a singer.
Yeah.
Close.
So she couldn't determine if she was upside down. And so she had to stop. I felt that way betting. I was like, which side's north? Where do I bet? Which the line?
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way Duke covers. I don't care how good the quarterback is. And then said, okay, I'm betting Duke plus 12.5. I was with, I played 9 holes of golf with Jake Owen yesterday evening, and he was like, I'm going to bet Duke money line. And I remember thinking, you idiot. And then I was like, okay, I'm hopping on because I just said you're an idiot, and I've missed every single thing, so I'm the idiot.
Yeah, maybe he's right.
So I didn't bet the money line, though. He did.
That's good money, dude.
Wow.
I know.
Jeez. I thought that 12.5 wasn't enough, too.
For Clemson?
Yeah.
I
I was
agree.
like, that's what? I thought it'd be like 17.
I agree.
Well,
Dabo Sweeney is just
What's going on over there?
what a joke.
yeah, that was bad.
I mean, they're still jinxed from not coming on our show last year. That's what I'm convinced of.
That's all I thought of. When I was watching it all go down, I'm like, oh, man, I mean, this is it.
We cursed you.
We cursed you last year.
We cursed
Still
you.
happening.
Coming up in a bit, we have Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young and head coach Frank Reich from when we went over and hung out. Just 2 great interviews. If you saw clips of them inside of Too Much Access, just wait. The whole interviews are so good. We talked to Bryce about a few different things, including the differences from that leap from high school to college and then the leap from college to the pros. And then Coach Reich was actually awesome. I didn't know if he would be because
Surprisingly
he's an NFL head coach, and those guys are always like, I'm an NFL coach. But he was fun.
And a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
I agree. So that was cool. I'm going to say big shout out to my dude. It was not a Photoshop either. Deion Sanders. What a win.
Yeah.
I don't think TCU is as great as people probably thought they might have been, but they're still a solid Division I, Big 12 team.
Yeah.
And
Colorado went in as a 15-point underdog? 20-point
Yeah.
underdog.
It's 20.
That's crazy.
And I'm very biased. I love Deion Sanders. I spent a lot of time with him. We spent 4 months together. I love that dude. I've said it even before he was coaching Colorado. What do you want me to do? You want me to kill somebody for you, hide a body, run through a wall? I wrote about him in my book, Bare Bones. I posted a picture of him reading my book. I was like, I guess he read this before they went out and played the game. Kidding. And people are like, you must have photoshopped that. I didn't Photoshop it. We did a show. It was awesome. I was so happy for him. So happy for him.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a little too much to come out and say, now do you believe?
No.
Now do you believe?
No, because
it is one game.
It would be inconsistent if he didn't, because he's all about living life right now regardless. We're going to win. When we win, we're going to have fun. When we lose, it ain't going to be that fun. They won. They just beat number 17 team in the country. They were a 20-point underdog. He's not saying we're going to win every game this season. They're going to play Nebraska next. That'll be interesting. They could beat Nebraska, but he has to be that way because that's what he is. He's right now. He's right now. And so, yeah, do you believe that's what he needs to do? He needs
right now, like prime time.
And he doesn't need because he's so good at it. He's staying in the news. Let's go. I told you. And he gets a week of nonstop I told you. If they lose the next game, who cares? Then it's not much of a story anyway. It's like, oh. They thought they might win 3 games this year. I was listening to people say if they win 3 or 4 games this whole year, that's one of the greatest coaching turnarounds in the history of coaching. They won 1 game last year, and they just dropped that whole roster and brought in basically 80 new kids.
Yeah.
It was a great game, too.
I was in a foreign country catching snippets of it. Do you know what I do now? Is I go to TikTok and I just type in the game, and somebody's usually streaming it from their phone, looking at a screen.
That's what I do for UFC. I mean, no, I don't.
Is that legal?
No, I don't.
Well, that's what I did for the games. I was in Paris. So, big Deion Sanders lover. That guy's awesome.
One shocking thing that you told me about him that he doesn't like neon. Neon Deion.
That's not his, he didn't. That's not his nickname. He likes. He didn't
come
like
up with
it.
that?
He didn't use it. Nope.
That's pretty crazy, but he does like Coach Prime.
Prime time.
Prime time, baby.
Prime time's his nickname. He gave it to himself. Yeah. All right, let's go over and do the tittle tattle.
It's time for the stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
Week 1 is officially done and in the books for college football. Outside of that Colorado game we just talked about, what was your biggest takeaway?
That I lost a lot of money, mostly betting on LSU. I thought I had it all figured out. It was like LSU. First of all, they were like a 6.5 point favorite. I'm guessing. I think it was like 6.5 points when the game started. Maybe it was 3.5, something like that. But regardless, Florida State scores early, and I'm like, I'm about to be smarter than the room times 2. So I just load up on then LSU plus 3 points. I'm like, I'm about to be so rich. And then they just got dominated.
Yeah.
So my takeaway is that I suck at betting. And I suck this week. I think this is what I'm going to do starting right now, and you have my word, and I'm going to let this be if you ever want to audit my DraftKings account, you can. But I'm just going to let you guys know how much money I've won and lost, period, on college football only. NFL, I suck balls. I never win at NFL, or I win all at NFL, and it doesn't matter because NFL's a crapshoot. College football, I will tell you, I think I'm up $9 from last week, but that's only because I bet $750 last night on.
Oh my gosh!
On
Thank you for being transparent.
yeah, no, I have to. I'm just gonna. I'll be honest with you guys. I bet $750 last night on Duke plus 12.5, and I can show you just so you don't. You want to audit me?
No, I believe you.
Yeah, I believe you.
Okay. Let me just, for my own sake, so people don't think I'm full of crap. But what I want to do is I'm just going to tell you guys how much I've won and lost. So if you want to ride with me or die with me, whatever you want to do, I will be honest with you because I don't want you. My face logins not working. I don't want you guys being upset. We missed the parlay again because stupid LSU. We missed 2 of the 4.
We missed
South
2.
Carolina.
Yeah, that sucked. I hated that for them.
That was rough.
That's rough. I mean, Spencer Rattler had no time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He had no time. The offensive line struggled. The thing about Colorado, too, they didn't have all their best players playing either. So, well, Arkansas, too, baby. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, man. Y'all look good.
I mean, we didn't play anybody,
we didn't play
but
anyone,
still.
but still.
Yeah. We look,
And our boy Joyner scored the first touchdown. It was really cool to see. Carry on, Joyner.
yeah.
Yeah, it was cool
It's
to
South
see.
Carolina, yeah.
After doing all of these things,
I
all of these
know.
way too much access, I look at the screen. I'm like, that's my boy. I know him.
I caught a pass from that guy.
John Rice Plumlee. Let's go, baby.
He looked good, too.
Yeah, dude, he did.
So, yeah, we have a series called Too Much Access. Go look at you can go to my Instagram, Eddie's Instagram, but it's the official one's Too Much Access Bobby Bones. But the YouTube page is what, Reed?
It's also too much access.
It's just,
Bobby
what is it?
Bones, Yeah.
Too Much Access Bobby Bones?
Yeah, also too much access Bobby Bones.
We were just going to do Too Much Access, and we could have got that in like 90% of the places, but we didn't want to have one of them that was off and have to be like, all on these pages were Too Much Access.
Right.
So then we just went Too Much Access Bobby Bones.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, we're looking pretty good to go do Arkansas this week.
Let's go.
We have a really fun episode that's not Arkansas coming up next week. Yesterday, we put out the UCF episode.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's super cool. All right, next up.
Some more Colorado talk here. There's a lot of talk about Sanders and Hunters being favorites for the Heisman, going from 100 to 1 to 28 to 1, 81 to 22 to 1. Would you put any money on them to win the Heisman?
The Hunters, the kid that's the wide receiver and the defensive back,
Yeah.
that is so novel. First of all, to win the Heisman, you're going to need to win 8 games. At least. You're going to need to be super dominant and win at least 8 games. That's about the worst you could do. Mostly, the Heisman's a quarterback from a team that is playing in the playoff or the national championship. So, I think if you could get it at 50 to 1, sure, that's fun to put $10 on. Do I think they're going to win? Nah, I don't think so, because I don't think they're going to be good enough to win 9 games. If they win 6 or 7 games, it's going to be to go from 1
That's
win.
huge.
It's huge. I could not be a bigger advocate of Deion Sanders. I love him. And hopefully he calls me up and he goes, "You believe me now?" And then we'll go undefeated. Do you believe me now? I'd love it. I'd love it. But Shador Sanders threw for 500 yards. He had 4 receivers at over 100 yards. It's crazy. TCU just they weren't ready. And they lost all but I think 3 starters. But still.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win the Heisman. I think it's Caleb Williams to lose. It's him. And if I were taking him versus the field, I'd probably still maybe take him right now.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Pac-12 didn't lose a single game.
I know.
The whole division.
In their last year of existence. They finally
check us out now.
Yeah. I mean, they got teams. They got Stanford going to play in the ACC.
Yeah.
Crazy Stanford. And SMU's going to, but that one's not as crazy because it's Texas. It's still crazy to be in the ACC.
Yeah.
Because it's the Atlantic Coastal Conference. But I mean, these California teams, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's gonna be like just the Coastal Conference now.
Yeah,
because you got all these teams.
All right, next up.
Leads to my next one. Actually, do you think the conference will cease to exist in a few years?
I think that yes, it will not exist, and then it will exist again in another form. Meaning, remember when the Cleveland Browns had a team and they moved to Baltimore, and then all of a sudden another Cleveland Browns popped up?
Was that a long time ago? I don't remember that.
Late 90s?
Oh wow, I don't remember that.
The Browns moved to Baltimore in the middle of the night, packed up, moved to Baltimore, got the trucks and everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You should watch the documentary 30 for 30.
Okay.
I remember it happening, but it's crazy. They overnight had to get the heck out of Dodge.
What on earth?
Yeah, people were stealing chairs out of the stadium.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. So the Cleveland Browns moved to be the Baltimore Ravens, and then a new Cleveland Browns popped up, which is now the Cleveland Browns. I think that'll happen with the Pac-12, or the Pac-12 will be a division of like a Big Ten or one of these massive conferences. You'll have the Pacific Conference. It may not be 12 teams, but it's over. They couldn't get a TV contract.
It's wild.
They couldn't get a TV. I mean, that first USC game, you had to watch it
Couldn't
on.
see it. I didn't watch it.
Like Nick Toons.
You had to do your TikTok.
Yeah,
watch
Nick.
somebody
Yeah,
watch it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. All right. What else?
Last one here. Marvin Harrison Jr. got a lot of hype coming into the season. Had a bad game in the first game, but it's all right. Who's the best college wide receiver you've ever seen?
Great question. Probably Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson at Georgia Tech.
Yeah. And a running offense?
Yeah. He was at Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then I think I have a little bit of after the fact bias too, because I watched on TikTok a bunch of him playing wide receiver in college and how he just got so big and so strong. Probably Calvin Johnson. You?
Probably Larry Fitzgerald. He pops in my mind
Pittsburgh?
right away at Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember him.
They weren't very good, but pretty sure he was a Heisman finalist too, and their team was awful.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he was that good.
If he's that good and they didn't win 8 games, because I just made that whole declaration there. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't remember. Eddie, you?
Oh, I don't know, dude. Waddle? I don't know. Like, like in college, receivers don't ever like stick out to me.
Go to the Heisman last year, 2 years ago, Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Devontae Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, the Slim Reaper.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Nice.
he was awesome, but again, like dominant. Yeah,
Julio Jones was really good.
Yeah, Julio
that's
Jones
right.
was-
In Alabama, that's right. That's right.
and they were really a running team too. And Julio was.
Yeah.
They weren't wide open, quarterback centric like they are ish now. But okay, is that it?
Yep.
All right, that's Tittle Tattle. Thank you.
Stupidest name ever is the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
Oh, yeah. Just a reminder, 25 Whistles presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app. Use the code BobbySports. Get in on the action. Do I do the parlay now or just tease that we have it coming up?
Just tease it.
I owe it to our listeners to get something right.
And me.
I owe you crap.
I'd appreciate it.
But I'm just looking at some of these games, and I'll figure it out. The game that I think people are giving a little too much credit to is this Tulane versus Ole Miss game. Ole Miss is a touchdown favorite. Ole Miss is going to stomp a hole in Tulane. Tulane's pretty good this year for a Tulane. You know, Tulane used to be in the SEC. They left.
Really?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
They pieced out.
Probably smart.
Back then, probably, but the money just wasn't the same. then.
Yeah, that's true.
That's when Arkansas and Arkansas and who came in with Arkansas? Maybe Vanderbilt. I don't know. That's when we came in though. They were there. Who came in with Arkansas? Mike, we see who came in the SEC with Arkansas that year?
Mississippi State.
Nah.
I'm just naming.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
Ole Miss.
Nah. Alabama's 7-point favorite in Alabama versus Texas, which is an interesting game to look at. Do you see the Miami game this past week, by the way?
Yes, I did, and that's. Are you going to bring up A&M in Miami? Are you going to pick them?
Not yet, but I remember Miami of Ohio, their quarterback going, "We're the real Miami." They got rolled. They got rolled.
Oh,
Right. But
Said it was South Carolina.
That's what it was, South Carolina.
1990.
Thank you.
Gamecocks?
Yes. So, yeah, take the 25 Whistles parlay. We'll give it to you coming up later this week. New users use the code BobbySports when you download the app. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369-C. Show notes for full details. This is pretty cool. Now we will get to the guy, number 1 draft pick, Bryce Young. I was surprised they let us talk to him, I'll be honest with you.
so cool.
Yeah, he was awesome, too. He went to the same powerhouse high school in Southern California that Matt Leinart went to, that Matt Barkley went to. He originally committed to USC before changing to Alabama. He became the first Heisman winning quarterback from Alabama when he won it in 2021. Here he is, starting quarterback. Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Bryce Young.
Which speed is more of an adjustment? High school to Alabama or Alabama to here?
I don't know. I think it's hard to compare. It's different. It's just, I think it's different. It's a jump. All across the board. There's a lot. I think there's just different aspects that you have to account for. Different things, different operations. It's tough to compare.
Where do you get more free stuff? Pros here or Alabama? Because that's all I would want. I just want gear.
That's a good question. It's honestly pretty split too. Like Alabama was great with the gear. You get all the Alabama stuff. You get all the Nike shipments in. They'd always give it to us, put it on our locker. We'd always have new stuff. But same here. Like we showed up to train. Showed up a couple of days of training camp. Everyone's walking around these hard black hoodies. I'm like, with the Panther? I'm like, where'd you get that? Like, it's in your locker. I was like, look at that. Like,
is it unlimited?
Nah, not unlimited. You gotta. You can't just. You gotta be. They'll work with you if you don't take
everybody up. I'll be hooking everybody up. They'll be like, why do you need extra small and extra large?
Yeah. No. If it's like if you abuse, you can't abuse it. Like if it's like if it's people hey, I got a large shirt for workouts. Like, hey, can I get an extra large? I need an extra. Like I switched to a different size shirt today. It's like. That's, but when you're just like every day, I need a new shirt, or it's like, let me get a hoodie, let me get another hoodie, you get it. Like, honestly, I haven't asked to double up on any of the casual stuff yet, so I don't know, to be honest. But
we should initially. Yeah.
We shouldn't ask you for gear then.
Yeah, because we were gonna ask for the whole size. We want everything.
I probably get you some like one of these, like a workout shirt.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're gonna.
We're good on that now.
It doesn't. It just it doesn't even have
shoulder
the Panther
pads. I want it all. I want the whole thing. I want to
yeah.
walk out here looking like you, all geared up completely.
Yeah,
Bryce,
I don't know if I can pull that.
Let's talk about draft night. What's that like, dude? Like what from even just waking up being like, dude, today's gonna be a crazy day. I'm about to be rich. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if the rich part necessarily went through my head, but yeah, it's definitely a surreal day, surreal experience. Something you dream about as a kid, and it's crazy. You always, it seems so far for all your life. You go through youth and high school and college, and maybe eventually you think maybe it'll be there, but you never really focus on it. Even when you declare, it seems so far away. And then on draft night, it's just a rush of everything you've done, all your past. It's like it comes into fruition from that moment, and then after that you have to move on and build from that. And it hits a refresh, and you got to restart and start from ground zero. But it's surreal, and luckily I was able to share that moment with my family, and my parents were there, and we were able to share that because it's definitely a journey, it's definitely a process, getting to that. But it's hard to sum up the emotions. They're just so overwhelming that night, just because of how much it means.
At what age did you start athletically being superior to other people on the field? Let's say like 6. Do you remember?
Athletically superior?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would.
Yeah, that's out running, out
you
throwing.
are, dude.
Yeah. I don't know if they
I
told
would.
you, but you're pretty good.
I wouldn't categorize myself as that at all. But I don't think there was never a time I've played like I've played in middle school, like I've played PE and been like, yeah, I probably but organized like real football, I don't think I've ever really. I felt confident. I felt like, all right, I can execute, but I don't think I've ever really felt like, oh, this is too easy, or like why. That's never came through my head. So yeah, it still hasn't happened to me.
Okay, I'm
yet.
going to tell you why that's not true. Because I'm a big Arkansas fan. I watched you torch us for like 500 yards. Awful game for me, like the worst. Like I never sat through a more miserable experience of watching you just carve us up. Probably the game you threw more than any other in college. Would you imagine?
I might have. I do remember that.
Yeah,
game.
probably. Yeah, it's pretty
Remembers
good.
that.
So I would imagine a game like that, you're going, this is the easiest thing I've ever done.
It's not easy. It's like you feel confident and you're like, all right, but it's not like you can't, like, it's not where you're like, you get bored. You can feel things and it's a fruition of the people, it comes to fruition, people around you, what you're seeing on film, things like that. You definitely get into a groove, but it's never to the point of like, I can just, there's no point where I've ever been like, I can't go through all my pre-snap stuff. I don't have to go through all my checks. I don't have to go through my reads. I'm just going to like skip something. I've never been at that point.
I thought I saw you yawn during the game. You were that's what it looked like. Like third quarter, like, hey, get someone again. That's what I felt. That was a bad one there.
I mean, you do look so calm out there. Like, I remember the Texas game. It was just, are they going to come back and do this? But you were so serious and calm. It didn't look like you were in a high stress situation. What's really happening inside though?
Yeah, honestly, I've just a lot of kind of what I believe in, and my philosophy is just finding the best space for yourself, performance-wise, and to be successful. And for me, it's hard for me to put in words, but I feel like I have a mindset where I feel like I function the best, and I'm able to perform the best. And I try to make sure, regardless of what's going on around me, I control what I can control, and that's my mindset and how I'm approaching things. And first quarter, fourth quarter, wherever that is, I try my best, and you sway, and there's ups and downs, and you kind of have to reel things back in or amp things up to try to find and stay in that headspace. But in those moments, it's authentic. It's a mix of letting go of whatever happened in the past, letting go of the circumstances around you, and I'm big on controlling what I can control. So regardless of what's going on around me, what's the play? What's my read? What do I need to talk about? What are we executing? What happens going on? How much time is left? What the crowd is into? Stuff out of my control, and it's going to take me away from my job. So really, my focus just goes there.
But deep inside, the heart's not flying.
Not necessarily.
He yawns, dude, in the middle of games. I'm telling you, I saw him do it against us.
I've seen it
It
too.
was just like, is this it? There's like 6 guys playing defense, it felt like.
Yeah, it's just for me, and it's an everyday exercise. It doesn't just happen naturally. I've been working on this my whole life, and again, there's ups and downs. I don't just stay perfectly, but I try to do everything I can to put myself. I'm not saying it never happens, but I try to do everything I can, regardless of the situation, to keep my heart rate, keep my mindset, keep where my head's at in the same spot, in that ideal spot for me, regardless of what's going around. And again, it's just like anything. I'm trying to execute, just like we're trying to play every play, and we're trying to score every drive. It's something that you have to work towards. But that's just what I try to do.
Your sophomore year at Alabama, you threw for a ton of touchdowns and not very many interceptions. I think it's the first year you started. It was like some real unrealistic stat. A big SEC guy. And I remember thinking, oh, this sucks. He's going to be there a long time. But respectfully, like, this sucks. He's going to be there for a long time. But I think maybe you had like 7 interceptions the whole year. Is there an interception in your mind from your entire college career that goes down as your worst interception, where you're like, that's the one that I just think back to? I was like, I knew I shouldn't have let the ball go then.
All interceptions hurt for sure. It's never,
There's so few, though. There's got to be one that you just hate.
There's turnovers. Anytime you turn the ball over, it's always bad. Obviously national championship hurts. Looking back on it.
Which one was that one? This last 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Obviously that hurts. That's a big one. Actually, fun fact, it just happened to come on, and for some reason, as we were walking and they were doing like SEC replays, and they did the Iron Bowl from this year, and my last pass to Brian Denny was a pick, which I was like, and right when it happened, I threw it. I knew I was like this might, I don't think I'm going back in. This might be, I hadn't figured out what I was gonna do next, but we'll see. But if it is, the last pass just had to be an interception, But again, anytime you throw, just turn the ball over, that's something, just as a quarterback, you never want to do. You're probably yourself and not doing. It happens, but you want to minimize as much as you can. So, they all hurt though.
Final 5 questions. To that, I found that in my career, I got fined $1 million once for something I did on the air. It wasn't terrible, but have lived through it, and also I have learned that, and even I've been on stage doing stand-up, and I've bombed, and I've realized I've gotten out of it, and I've been actually okay because of it.
Yeah.
And I've seen it be real dark, where I thought was, but I've actually climbed out of it to a new level of success. And I asked that question about a setback because in those times, has it shown you that, okay, not only did I learn from it, but it ain't over. Like, sun's coming up tomorrow, and let's just keep going.
100%. I feel like it's inevitable for basically anyone in any aspect or walk of life to not have a setback. It's going to happen, whatever it is. I feel like, again, I'm big on controlling what I can control. So once it happens, you're going to feel emotions, but once that's over with, I feel like you have a choice of, are you going to dwell on it? Are you going to let it, change how you think? Or are you going to let it, just turn to a negative? Or are you going to try to find a positive from it? And, I'm not saying that's as easy as that. It's a lot of things, it's not everything's the same. Things can be harder than others. But I try my best to, once the emotion, you let the emotions run, and once that's over, try to condense that, what can I learn from it? What can I take from it? Because, again, if things like that can be a blessing in disguise. You can grow from it at times, and this may not always be a universal truth, but most of the times that's what I try to look for and to find. And again, it's not easy, but I 100% agree with what you're saying, your sentiment. I've been there too, of trying to turn those downs and those things that you may wish you didn't do, or wish you could get back. How can you grow from it? How can you learn? How can it make you stronger?
So you have hit a huge milestone. Let's talk about money again, dude. You got money now. What's the coolest thing you bought?
It's poor people talking to you. We're like, yeah, that's why. Yeah.
What's the coolest thing you bought so far?
Everyone asks me this.
Lambo.
No, everyone asks me this, and everyone gets so disappointed with the answer. I'm sorry, it's so underwhelming. I legit have not bought anything cool or like expensive. Like, I bought some clothes. Like,
Okay.
does that and nothing crazy. Like, nothing that I could just name. Like, where you'd be like, oh my god, like stuff that other people on the team have too. Like, I haven't made a major purchase. I haven't planned on I pay rent. Like, I got that. Like, that's really the biggest thing. So if it changes, I'll let you know. But I don't
hit us up.
Yeah, please.
hit us
please.
up.
I'll
Yeah.
give you my number when we're
Do you
done.
have the credit card thing on your phone? Because when I swipe my credit card, it shows up on my phone as a pay. Like, I bought something.
Apple Pay.
Well, yeah, but if I use my credit card, it shows up.
Oh,
so-
you're saying?
Yeah,
if
does
you
that
get
do that with you? Do you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I don't know. So this is year one. You're the first overall pick. We were talking to Coach about the unfair expectation of just first round picks, much less the number one overall pick. So I don't know what kind of expectation do you put on yourself year one with this team?
Yeah, I feel like, again, expectations are something that have, for me throughout my life has always been there and always have come from different angles, and everyone has different ones, and I respect that. And again, I think that's the beauty of sports, is everyone being able to chime in and talk and have expectations and root for people and against. Like, I love that. I'm a fan too, so I love that. But for me, I only let the expectations that we set in the room for. In the quarterback room, in the unit room, and in the team room, that's what I let, that's what I use as my expectations. That's what I use to guide myself and what I hope to accomplish. So, that's really where all my focus is. And, the external stuff, it's great. It is what it is, but I don't really put any thought to it. It's something I can't control.
Don't ask any more money questions.
No, we're done with
No
money
more
questions. We're done.
questions, bro.
But I will ask about fame, which is cool because we're sitting here, people walking by, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, there he is!" Like, people recognize you everywhere. Like, what's that like? You like that?
I mean, it's definitely humbling for sure. It's very humbling. It's different.
Use your name, get a reservation. Like,
Oh,
coming in,
come on,
Bryce
come on,
Young,
be real, be
Young,
real.
comma Bryce
I try.
QB, Bryce Young QB, like Doc. Yeah.
I really try not to. It has to be if it's something that's necessary, like if it's an event or something. But I try my best not to. It's it's humbling, and it's really it's a reflection of it's just, again, it's humbling. It's something that's it's an honor. It's a blessing for sure. But also I understand that stuff like that is circumstantial. And right now I'm in a situation today of like you said, people being around and recognize me, and that's because of what's around and what's happened in my past. So I'm grateful for it, but that doesn't entitle me to anything in the future. That's not something that's unconditional. Neither nor should it be. No one. I don't expect everyone to just unconditionally. People are Panthers fans and want what's best for the team, and again, it's conditional. It's based on me. All of that is what I can do on a football field. So it doesn't entitle me to anything. It's not something that's that's just a given or guaranteed or how it should be. It's something that reflects my past and doesn't have anything to do with my future. So it's super humbling. I'm grateful for everyone who has recognized me and came up to me and asked me for a picture, autograph, or just said hello to me. That does mean a lot to me, and it's surreal to see that happen. But at the end of the day, it's circumstantial. So again, that happens because of what I do on a football field, and with that being said, I have to make sure my focus is on that, is on football and team, on God, on my family, and the things that got me here. And that's the reason for everything. So I'm grateful for it, but it doesn't change it.
It sucks though because sometimes I don't like to do it either, but we'll call, be like, hey, maybe we can get Bobby Bones in, and they're like, I don't know who that is. That hurt. That always hurts a little bit.
That doesn't happen to Bryce,
Wait,
though.
no,
chance.
not because I would say QB. I'd say QB at the end just in case they weren't a sports fan. All right, final question, Bryce. Before you go and you weigh in over 200 pounds, did you just eat a bunch? Would you just eat a bunch?
I was working out. It was months. There's a pre-draft process.
No, but you didn't. You still, even with all that, you had to just eat it. Because when my gut, when I eat a bunch, like right before I weigh, like you can actually affect that. Did you do that?
No, I was like, it wasn't a surprise. Like it wasn't a pop quiz.
Because you weighed over 200 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you had to, you ate a bunch right
yeah,
before
like
that.
I ate steadily. Like I increased like my diet, my work. Like I.
But like 30 minutes before you weighed in, you didn't like eat a bunch.
I had like a normal breakfast.
Big Mac?
It was like
Like
Big Mac.
taco. I mean, because I would have went. You can go really hard and affect you. You're telling me you did not go really hard 30 minutes before?
I had like what was the pre-draft process was like months. I want to say like
No, but 30 minutes before. What did you eat? Anything?
I had a breakfast. Yeah, like I had breakfast. It was like.
What do you want him to say, Bones?
I want the truth. He had 11 pancakes, 7 waffles. Hey, we're big fans.
Yeah,
big
dude.
fan. Just watching how not just how you perform, but how just you operate as a person, as an athlete, as a student athlete. Like I think you are a great example to a lot of kids. I think you're a great hero to a lot of kids who look at pro players as heroes, and we're really rooting for you this year.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Do I look cool holding the ball, though, by the way? I've been holding. You haven't said anything about it.
Does it look
The
natural?
coach tried
Bryce?
to make me fumble. It hit me in the face with it. But I didn't fumble it.
Well, you're talking about you can earn some Panthers gear. I think with that,
Never
with
fumble-
that you can.
I didn't fumble
you
the
can
whole
earn it.
interview.
You don't gotta ask me for
I
any
didn't
more.
fumble
You
the
can-
whole interview. Look at this right here. And I'm going to sue for Panthers gear because coach hit me in the face with the ball. All right, Bryce, good to see you. Thank you.
Save it.
That's awesome. Thanks to Bryce Young. Hey, I want to mention this real quick. We had our fantasy draft last night. I only play in 2 leagues. I really only like playing one, and I try to get the same draft pick in both leagues, which I picked the number 9 spot in both leagues.
Oh, okay. That
so
helps.
what happened was in my first league, I was drawn and given 9 of 12. So in our close friends league, we played forever. I got to pick my spot like 3rd or 4th, so I just picked 9. So it worked out. I'm not gonna have the same team, obviously, but I'll have a similar-ish vibe, similar team. And so 9th pick, I took Saquon Barkley, contract year, whatever. And I went to play. We went and played 9 holes. Jake Owen and I did, and my wife and his fiance rode in the cart beside us. And I was like, I got to do this fantasy draft at dinner. So it was at dinner. Everybody's cool. Jake was watching the game. I bet a bunch of money trying to cover up I should never. Don't do that. Don't do that. I did.
Chasing? Yes. Don't chase.
Chase. And so and then I'm doing my fantasy draft at dinner at this Mexican restaurant last night. So then we get in the car and we're driving home, and I'm laughing out loud. I'm like, I don't know whose team this is, but this is hilarious. And then I go, it's got to be Eddie. Eddie's team has always been the San Francisco 69ers.
Right.
And which was hilarious to me. But I didn't see the 69ers on the board. I saw the Tampa Bay Tampons. And so I tell Caitlin, I said, somebody's a Tampa Bay Tampons. I said, it's got to be Eddie. So we're in the car, and I get on the Zoom while everybody's doing the draft. And I'm like, who's the Tampa Bay Tampons? And Eddie goes, me. And I'm like, I knew it. I'm laughing so hard. And she's like, why is that funny? She's like, we have your children. We have to have tampons because we're
Right.
And I'm laughing so hard. She's like, why is it so funny that he's named his team after a tampon? I'm like, alliteration. I'm trying to get out of it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Dude, hilarious.
I just every year, and I've been the 69ers for like 3 years now, I think. But before then, I would always try to be creative with like take a real team, take the real city, but then make a joke out of the mascot name, whatever. Dude, this one came to me like
So funny.
15 minutes before the draft.
We're 11, but tampon.
It's great.
I think the best part is his icon. He actually had an actual tampon.
With a little smiley face
His
on it.
logo.
And crazy how far Cooper Kupp's fallen on all the drafts.
Yeah.
And not crazy because of the injury and he missed last year, but he was 4th or 5th going. Or if you drafted a week and a half ago, and you got 4th or 5th, you got Cooper Kupp, you're just screwed probably.
My league got drafted, I think, in the first round last week. Yeah.
Okay, 7 months without an NFL game. That is crazy. Well, good thing it's over. NFL is here. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. This week, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check the app to see what you get. Download now. Use the code BobbySports to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's the code BobbySports, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER in New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See show notes for full details. This is also awesome. Let's do it. Our sit down with Panthers head coach, Frank Reich. In his first season as a head coach in Carolina. He played at Carolina as a backup quarterback in 1995. We talk about it. He's most known for his 32-point comeback win, Bills and Oilers. I remember I was watching it. I turned it off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I turned it back on, and I talked to him about the interview. I was like, yeah, I cheated. Here he is, Frank Reich.
So, honest question, Coach. You're an honest guy. When I hold the ball, do I look more like I'm delivering good sports talk? I thought for this I'd hold the ball to make it really look like I was doing my job.
There was a flash, it was like I saw the flash play, but not the consistency that we're looking for.
How's the hold, though, with the tip over it?
The tip, yeah, that's the eagle claw. You got to get the tip of it right, but then, then to the peck and then underneath. You get
If I fumble the whole interview, then, well, I guess I can't be.
Oh, okay,
that was good.
Good shot.
You held on to it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I got it.
You got it. All right, there we go.
Which, okay, so if somebody obviously not fumbling the ball is a big deal. What if a player fumbles the ball but recovers it? Do you hold that against them?
Absolutely.
You do, even if they recover their own ball?
Absolutely. I mean, we give them props for recovering it, but listen, the ball, you listen to Thomas Brown talk, you listen to Deuce Staley talk, you listen to any of our offensive staff talk. The ball is the issue, right? Possession of the ball. So, sure, recovering it is a good thing, but if it comes loose, that's just an indication that the fundamentals and the technique aren't right, and there has to be a consistency to that.
I have a theory, and again, please be honest with me, because I know you will, that if I could rush for 100 yards the entire season combined. Now, I'm 6 foot, 170, still pretty athletic-ish.
You look pretty athletic.
But 100 yards for the entire season.
Yes, you could do that behind our offensive line.
Hold on. I got another scenario.
No, that's the whole scenario.
no,
We've
it's
been fighting
not.
about this for 2 years.
We've also talked about 5 snaps from the 1 yard line. Could he take it in?
Behind our offensive line, yeah, 5 snaps, yeah.
The question would be, would I get hit so hard I don't want to do it again?
You would definitely wouldn't want to do it again.
Really?
No. No.
But I would 100 yards the entire. You
I
heard
don't
it.
know.
We've been fighting about this for 2 years,
Yeah,
Coach.
it's
This is the
amazing.
greatest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. I mean, we can cut it now. We're good. We got what we came for. What are you looking for? We went and watched practice day 1 at camp. Like, what are you looking for day 1 that's different than any other day?
Execution we're looking for the same thing every day: consistency and playmaking. Consistency and playmaking. You need both. So, we're in day 1 install, so everything's pretty elementary. What I was happy about today was guys showed great retention from what we did during OTAs. Very few mental mistakes out there today, and it was good give and take between the offense and defense.
Coach, I have 4 boys. I love them all a lot.
What if you only say you love 3?
That's my point. I do have a favorite, though. I mean, we're going to be honest. We have favorites. Out of the whole football team, do you have your favorites?
No, I have 3 daughters, and I've had this argument with them my whole life, right? Because we occasionally talk about this, right? And right, we like to say there is a unique love for each one of them,
There we go.
right? And everybody has a role to play and a way to play it, and so we celebrate that.
Right, but when one messes up, though, you kind of ignore them for the rest of the day. And I'm talking about your kids. Do you do that with the players, too?
Well, right? I mean, you treat everybody fairly, but not everybody the same. So, some people you need to jump on them. Other people you just kind of can let it slide and then say a little something later because they're going to be more hard on themselves than anybody. Where one of them might be like, oh, and they don't even think twice about it. That's the guy you got to, hey, we can't do that. But hey, on this team, what you find most of the guys, most of the pro players I've been around are harder on themselves than any coach is going to be on them. So that's why the art of coaching is not the yelling and screaming. That's just not where the money is. Where the money is squeezing out the extra % or 2 that they have in their body, finding ways to get that out.
When you moved for a head coaching job, as you just came to Carolina, when I moved, they put me in an apartment for a couple months until I found a house. What do they do when you're rich and famous like you?
Put you in an apartment until you
You
find a
stayed in
house.
an apartment? Or
Well,
like an Airbnb or
Yeah, so stayed in a hotel. We stayed in a hotel.
Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, that type thing?
No,
That's awesome.
It's a good setup. You know, they put you in a hotel right by the office building, because when you first get there, what do you think my days look like? It's 5 a.m.
All
till
time,
11
yeah.
p.m., right? So you don't want any drive time. You want to be at a hotel that's walking distance from the stadium where you're working, and so that's pretty much the transition.
Unlimited room service, though? Do they check that? Do they give you like a stipend?
You're never there. You get in the room and it's sleep for 6 hours and wake up and.
I'd still order food and go back to the room. Just if it's free, yeah. I go back, I order a sandwich and go back to the room.
Coach, when you look at the schedule and you have a West Coast team and you're going to the West Coast, traveling across the whole country, how do you prepare for that? Like, everybody's got to go to bed 4 hours earlier, or
For a week.
Or is there any difference?
good
Like, how do we
question.
do this?
Yeah, that's a great question, and there is a science behind it. You know, there is a formula behind it, and you can't make up for it all in 1 week. But what you do, you stagger it as you approach the week, whether you're going east to west or if you're a West Coast team coming east. You know, there's a formula that you stick to, and it's, you know, start your day an hour later one day, and then an hour later the next day, like that kind of thing.
Coach, you go to Maryland and you're behind Boomer Esiason for a few years. If you went to Maryland now and you were behind someone and they said, hey, this guy's going to be here for 2 or 3 years, today, do you think you'd have portaled?
Wow, that's a great question.
You ever been asked that before?
I've not been asked
Let's
that.
go!
Yeah. I've not been asked that before because my playing days are so far behind me. But there's a side of me like, hey, the competitor, I know I'm good enough to play. Let me, you know. But then the other side is, you know, the way I was raised. I'm a little bit old school. Like, hey, just grind it out. You know, just grind it out. This is where you wanted to go. So tough question to answer at this point.
Do you feel, though, because I feel this way about you, and I watched you, I mean, I think everybody now claims they were either at the game where you led Buffalo back or they watched it. And I do remember watching a lot of it, but I turned it off when you guys went way down, then turned it back on when you guys were catching up. I quit on you, I'll be honest with you. But then I came back. But do you feel like you were, I feel like you were robbed. Like you go and you're behind Boomer, then you get Jim Kelly is there. Even when you come to Carolina, it was like they had another young, was it Kerry
Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in a different timeline somewhere, you're like the greatest quarterback ever.
Well, I appreciate that. No, the reality is I had 14 years to prove that. And what I proved was that I was a really good backup. I was, you know, we talk about to the players, find out what your role is and be a star in your role. And so, you know, I think I was a really good backup quarterback. One of the top 32 QBs, right? But going from that level to being the franchise guy for 10 years, that's a different level and a different level of talent. So I'm very comfortable with what I did in my career, what I accomplished, and very happy with it.
Coach, the Philly special, will it ever come out again? I mean, is it just always in your back pocket?
It's always in the back pocket.
Secret play.
Yeah, it's always in the back pocket. We're always looking for ideas, and you're always recycling ideas. And there's different versions of it. So for sure.
Do you ever have a eureka moment where you go, how did I never think of running the offense this way, and no one's ever run the offense this way, and this is like I picture like these math professors on a board, like a beautiful mind. Do you ever have one of those with an offense, and you're like, oh, how did I not see this?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's just a matter of emphasis. I think over the years, 30-some years of being in this game, you never have all the answers, right? So you're always looking. And so you've been exposed. I think I've been exposed to most different kinds of offenses, but I haven't been in every offense. So what you find is that's why I like getting around different players and different coaches, diversity of thought. Like when we bring Thomas Brown in here, I never was in the Sean McVay, quote-unquote, system. And I always thought, well, it's great, they do a great job, but then I was always critical about certain things. And now I get Thomas here, and I get a chance to talk to him and hear what's the thinking behind certain things. And wow, I didn't know that's what you were thinking. I thought I knew what you were thinking, but I didn't understand that part. Some parts I understood full well, but not all the parts.
Coach, do you ever think of the camera being on you? Like, you know there are scenarios when the director's always going to say, show coach, he's real stressed right now. Do you even think about that during the game? Like, I gotta be cool right now because the camera's probably on me. Close up.
No, never think about that.
Never?
No, but what does happen is you got guys in the booth saying, hey, the camera's on you because, you're talking and the other team could have somebody up in there reading lips or, something like that. So, hey, cover your mouth. If I'm calling a play out, which most of the time I'm covering it anyway, but that does happen.
You're covering your mouth so they don't lip read. I always thought it was like, oh, bad breath, haven't had water in a while.
Yeah, both.
That's interesting.
You didn't know that?
I no clue. Even like baseball, I was like, why do they keep covering their mouths? That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Wow.
Are we really that dumb, sounding? Wow. Okay, Coach, you were the wide receiver coach at a couple different organizations. How hard is that when you haven't played wide receiver? Or is it a different perspective to coach them since you've worked with them?
I love coaching receivers. It was a great experience. Really, I think it helped me be a better offensive coordinator and better head coach because, and I always felt like as a quarterback playing for so many years, you're working with the receivers. Especially the backup quarterback. I always felt like I was an assistant wide receiver coach because you got to get it how the quarterback likes it. So, love it. Love those guys. How hard they work, how much they run. I've learned a lot from a lot of, Coach Larry Fitzgerald, unbelievable,
Senior?
Coach, no, junior.
Oh, got it.
Reggie Wayne had shot at Marvin Harrison, like those guys, like you feel like you're the student and you're listening and learning from them.
Coach, how do you watch the whole game? Like, how could you see everything? Not just your quarterback, not just your receivers, not just where your ball's going, but how are your eyes on everything during the game? Because I coach my son's basketball team, and it's tough. My eyes are always on my point guard because that's my son, and I'm hardest on him.
Yeah, you're very selective, right? Certain plays you're selective. Certain plays I'm watching the whole thing, and then certain plays like I know, hey, we've called this play, and we break the huddle. They're in the coverage that we want, and it's like, okay, let's just dial in on that guy right there because if we beat that guy, this is going to be a touchdown. And then you're zoned in on one guy. And there's other times you're kind of looking full field.
This is the final question, and really it's a question I'm sure a lot of you guys are asking, but the development of Bryce, like what is the realistic expectation of the development of a rookie quarterback versus what's the unrealistic expectation of a first-round pick, number 1 overall pick, and a guy like Bryce Young, because there's a different kind of pressure there with Bryce than anyone else. How are you guys going into that this season?
Just trying to keep the expectations focused on the day-to-day process. That's just so important. Like, I'm never going to get tired of saying that because, it's just natural. We all, coaches, people, media, fans, everybody wants to put the expectations on some result. And it's not that we don't all have high hopes and expectations for results, but the quarterback position is so multifactorial. There's so many things that go into it. That's things that are in your control and out of your control. So we just try to focus on the day-to-day development, and we're very comfortable with who Bryce is, with where he is, and with the players around him. So let's just get on the right trajectory, and let's just see how it plays out.
Coach, we really appreciate the time. And one final time, I would rush for 100 yards through a whole season. We heard it here. One of the greatest minds in the NFL. And I think we'll just leave it at that. And thanks, Coach. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. Thanks to Coach Reich. All right, let's do quickly your favorite team, how they do. You get 30 seconds to talk about whatever. You go first, Kevin. You can even talk about you want to talk about the Patriots coming up the next week.
Yeah.
This is your selfish time. Go.
I don't know how to feel, honestly, coming into the season about the Patriots. I know they got Bill O'Brien now, and they got, I don't know who, Juju, Ezekiel, right? Elliott,
They have
right,
Zeke.
Eddie?
Yep.
But their offensive line, I don't know what to make of them, and they need an offensive line from Mac Jones. So I'm kind of scared, not going to lie. Riley Reif, their starting right tackle, is now out for the first 4 weeks. Their defense should be good, but outside of that, I don't know what to expect.
What about Matt Corral? Now they got Matt Corral.
And, yeah, he's their backup now.
I know, which is crazy.
And we play the Eagles week 1. I'm like, oh, no.
Wait, so who filled in the spot at the Panthers?
Andy Dalton.
Oh, so he's just the backup there?
Uh-huh. Yeah, they have because Matt Corral's going to be a third-string quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dalton's the backup. He knew his role.
So you don't think Zeke's going to be used there?
No, he will.
Okay.
Like their running game should be decent, but they also need a good offensive line, and they don't have that.
Yeah.
That's what scares me the
But
most.
Zeke can play center, remember?
That's true. There we go.
That's terrible, man.
God, he got destroyed.
His last play as a Cowboy, that was it.
It was awful. Eddie.
The Cowboys, what am I going to say? Like, let's just see what happens. I'm excited. I mean, I think like every year, it's just good. I think Dak's on a mission. He says he's not going to throw one single interception this year.
That's not what he said.
I believe him.
That's not what he said.
And so let's go on forward with that mentality. Let's not throw a pick. Let's go to the Super Bowl. But I will say to college this week, I did lose a lot of money in college. But man, the fact that Oregon beat Portland State 81-7, that's savage.
What about Oklahoma beating Arkansas State like 70?
And he was crying.
5-0 or whatever.
And that's another thing for
Who's
the
crying?
coach.
Their head coach for Arkansas State.
coach was
he
crying?
was
I didn't see that.
Dude,
I was in freaking Paris.
Sorry.
And I was annoyed, and I was like, why can I not watch a college football game?
He was crying, and it's like, dude, don't cry. You
I didn't see it.
You
Butch
expected-
Jones.
Oh, and Butch Jones, like former North Carolina, former Miami
Yeah.
coach.
He was crying because
He
they were
was
getting beat so
embarrassed.
bad on the sideline.
My family are Oklahoma fans, and I try not to hate Oklahoma, although they did reject us in doing too much access there, so they can also suck my balls right now.
Damn.
For now, just the football
Just
staff.
for now.
Because Patty Gasso, head softball coach there, GOAT.
Yeah, you didn't mean that.
Nope.
Towards her.
Relative, family, but you know what, Joe C, I love you.
Okay.
The athletic director.
So then let's just retract that statement then.
Balls might suck. Okay, I
Okay.
took it back. I did it backward. But it's like they're like, oh, no. So for now, suck my balls for now.
Oh boy, he's back to it. Oh man.
But my family loves them, and I'm good with them too. I just wish that they were nicer to us. And so
They look good this week.
Yeah, I said, why you guys run the score up in Arkansas State? And he was like, we didn't on purpose. We just started running the ball at the end of the game, and they couldn't stop it.
Oh yeah, if you're running the ball and you're just plowing through them, they
Bad.
deserve it.
That sucks. I got to go watch Butch Davis cry though.
Dude, you can't cry.
He won a national championship with Miami, right? Or was he in right after the national championship with Miami?
I don't know if he won it with them.
It's a Google away, Kev.
That's what I'm on it.
Because I know he was there for a while. I know he was at North Carolina for a while.
As their head coach? No.
Miami?
Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Florida? I'm not seeing anything. I'm just going from my head.
Oh.
Butch Davis. Type in Butch Davis, Miami,
Yeah.
and see what comes up. Nothing?
Nope.
Was he never the head coach there?
Nope.
All right. Well, I guess I'm wrong.
It happens.
He was at Tennessee, Cincinnati, Central Michigan, West Virginia.
Was he ever an offensive coordinator there?
At Miami?
Yeah.
Nope.
He's not going to quit with Miami. Did he ever stay in a hotel in Miami?
I'm seeing he was a head coach there for 6 seasons.
Thank you.
95 to 2000.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Well, Wikipedia.
Butch Davis. He was the head
95.
coach of the University of Miami Hurricane football team from 95 to 2000. Kevin, are you okay, buddy?
There's nothing on Wikipedia.
I'm literally looking at it. Why only go to Wikipedia, though? You're like, well, not on Wikipedia. I give up.
If it's not on the internet, it's not true.
He probably didn't win a national championship then, but he did. He did coach at Miami. Anyway, I'll go about Arkansas. We played Western Carolina, obviously.
Do you watch it
I did.
on TikTok?
Both ESPN some, but I kept having to pay $10 for over and over again for high speed access because I was using my phone. Because I use what do you call a thing where you hide where you're from, Mike?
VPN.
I use a VPN called who cares? And it won't block on internet. It'll
Okay.
block through cell phone. So I've said I was from Chicago,
Got it.
and then I was watching, but I kept having to pay $10 every 20 minutes for high speed access internationally. So I paid like $70 to watch that game.
Oh man. Speaking of, dude, how are you going to pay for Sunday Ticket?
What do you mean?
Like that's
It's on YouTube TV.
yeah, I know. I don't have YouTube TV, so I'm going to have to.
No, all you have to have is a YouTube account though too.
That's
you can
it?
just get on YouTube as well.
You get just the ticket itself.
Heck yeah.
But how much is that? Am I getting like $500?
I don't know. Dude, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm rich now. I don't even look at prices
Good call.
anymore. Stuff.
Good call. Well,
$300.
$300.
For the whole season.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money. This might be the first year I don't have Sunday Ticket.
I'm kidding. Not that I'm rich, but I do look at prices.
Not kidding about that.
Yeah. Okay, that's all. I think we're gonna wrap the show up now. And I love you all, and we'll see you later on this week.
Love you too, man.
Thank you. And I'm gonna do better, and I'm not gonna try to catch up.
At gambling?
Double up to catch up. Not a good thing to do.
yeah,
But I did. It worked. I came $9 ahead after a bad week. I was chasing. It's like a horror movie. And I was Freddy Krueger. And the person that was running from me was the money I lost.
You were chasing.
But I caught it and I killed it. And I came out $9 ahead because I bet $750 on
Good for you,
Duke
man.
plus 12.5.
Maybe you can get me a Sunday ticket.
And anything I ever said about sucking in my balls, I just like to say that that's just a phrase I use.
You don't mean it literally.
I don't know.
You're still on the fence on that?
I love Joe C. and I love Patty Gasso. But the football program, they've really done us dirty 2 years
What
in a row.
about Stoops? You like Stoops? He's still involved.
Yeah. I like old Stoops.
Okay, so
Mike
he's
Stoops, but not his brother at Kentucky who said we couldn't come either.
Yeah.
not that dude.
I like Bob Stoops. Mike Stoops, though, can. You know what? I'm not going to give him the balls yet. I'm going to think about it for a week. Maybe a couple days. All right.
Good for you.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.